In one of the more bizarre moves of the offseason, the Milwaukee Bucks waived Damian Lillard after his Achilles injury, using that as leverage to sign Myles Turner. The Bucks have been a team that has gone from championship level contending into middle of the pack last season. They have a roster where I'm like, sure, I guess, and I think just right off the bat, they have no legitimate secondary guy. I see the vision of what they could become. You have Giannis, who is the best rim pressure guy in the league, in transition, off screens, one-on-one, just tremendous strength on the way to the rim, different gallers to slide by the defense, can get shots off through heavy traffic, strong hands with added growth as a capable mid-range shooter. And then the man is legitimately one of the most improved great passers over the years as a driving kicker, wrapping passes around and beaming long passes to the open guy. For years he has been that, hey, Giannis is really good, right? But not good enough for MVP. He always lurked around that third spot. But Giannis is just a consistent source of offense with the ball in his hands. I really don't worry about him. He's a legitimate superstar. Myles Turner, if you were going to move on from Brook Lopez, was the best type of big to pair next to Giannis. Lopez was getting older, and the Bucks needed to invest in someone younger who can give better production at that center spot. Turner stretches the floor, which forces opposing centers to have to guard him and not crowd the paint. Turner is a 15 points per game guy who shot near 40% on close to 6 3-pointers a game. And that range he gives to where he can be a pick and popper, spot up above the break, makes him a threat along the perimeter. What has been a positive development in Turner's game is being able to attack mismatches. Oftentimes defenses would switch, not believing much in Turner's attack, but he has become a threat who can take smaller guards in the post, seal them, and create shots inside for himself. He's also a threat in the short roll with that jumper. I do want to see more of that short roll passing be sharper from him, but he can also just take the ball and drive it inside and get a shot up. As a defender, Turner has always flown under the radar in that tier below all NBA defensive team, but he is a legitimate shot blocker, strong protecting the rim. There are moments where he just doesn't give that resistance you need with zero urgency and just standing flat-footed as he sees a dude just get a layup inside going right by him. He is here and there defending in space. You do want him to kind of replicate the drop defense of a prime Brook Lopez at least, which he is capable of. Lopez was a better post defender, and I feel Turner tanks in that area. I've always harped on the lack of consistent effort as a rebounder, but he is more of a team rebounder. I know that some people will say, well, you're tall with a long wingspan, but there's other factors that goes into rebounding. Strength, leaping ability, tracking the ball on the way down, positioning, and how effective you are boxing out your own man. And then there's other elements of, oh, your team's just not boxing out their guys, so you kind of have to cover for them. So sometimes rebounding isn't always your fault. It's a team thing, but also being big does help, but it's also a lot of stuff that goes into it. For bigs who are shot blockers, sometimes it's tough to block a shot, then spring back off the ground and grab a board with a second jump, so I get that. And Turner's mission is kind of just box out and allow his guards to grab the boards, push offense quickly, which is the Pacers' bread and butter. But then there are times where I think positionally and in traffic where when you really need him to challenge and grab a board, he does struggle and he can get moved out of position from stronger centers. He just doesn't have great leaping ability or the sense of urgency to just challenge for rebounds in traffic. Even with those rebounding weaknesses, he plays with guys like Giannis and Portis who can help Turner on the boards. Giannis especially, where he can just push the pace off of that. Cole Anthony has been one of the more under the radar signings from the Bucks. I feel there is a lot of things he can showcase better on the Bucks just from better spacing. There's another gear he can get to as a shot creating guard who is capable of getting to the rim with his handle, working in ball screens, getting to a mid-range jumper, or utilizing crafty footwork to score inside. He's a score first dude. He has legitimate shot creation skills of creating space, utilizing ball screens to get into the paint and creating a shot. Has a floater in his game he can get to, solid finisher when he gets inside. His handle is solid, but he does struggle navigating against lengthy defenders with pressure, which goes into his playmaking ability. The playmaking does leave a lot to be desired from Cole Anthony. He doesn't process the court really well, can have some bad tunnel vision at times, frequently missing windows to pass. He's just geared more as a scorer, but he isn't a high-level scorer. What I'm worried about is that given his height and when pressured, he just doesn't do well passing out and making those basic reads at a high level. He can be a bit jump shot reliant in the mid-range, and if those shots aren't falling, it's tough for him to score. Consistency is another issue he has, and Cole Anthony shooting off the catch is really going to be a swing skill for him on the Bucks. He shot 34% on catch and shoot threes on low volume, and I really see this Bucks team just saying, Giannis, dude, go out, have an MVP year. You are the point guard for this team. We will space out the floor and put up a ton of threes while you attack the rim relentlessly. Cole has to be a bigger factor in that, with more volume on threes off the catch. For his size, he is pretty active on the boards, which does help. Tremendous leaper as a 6'2 dude, average 3 rebounds a game, hustle type of player who looks to push the pace in transition as much as possible. The Bucks also brought in Gary Harris, in which I'm just like, cool, I guess. I mean, sure. The shot has been pretty spotty from him for the past couple of years, struggled with injuries. When healthy, he does serve as a three-point shooter who can provide additional perimeter defense. It's just interesting because they do have AJ Green and Ryan Rollins that fills that mold. Ryan, who fills the 3-and-D mold, who has on-ball potential that can be tapped into more, as well as a strong defender. Rollins stepped up whenever his name was called, one of the biggest bright spots for the Bucks last year. The Bucks lucked out of the BO sweepstakes to the Clippers, which, just side rant, I am ranting here. The Clippers from 2014 until now has had a crap ton of talent come in and out of that roster. Prime Chris Paul, prime Blake Griffin, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Lou Williams, Ivica Zubac, James Harden. Hell, they had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at one point. Granted, he was a rookie. Norman Powell, Isaiah Hartenstein, Danilo Gallinari, Tobias Harris, JJ Redick, Jamal Crawford, old man Paul Pierce. This team has gotten a ton of talent left and right with balanced rosters, competitive rosters. Never got over the hump. The Lakers, who had an talent since 14 compared to the Clippers. LeBron and AD really came over and saved that franchise, but the Lakers have had poor rosters through that time span, but have at least one championship in that span. Now, I know injuries and such and whatever the case you want to throw out, but it's just funny how the Clippers legitimately should have zero. This is the biggest team where they shouldn't have zero excuses to get the thing done. And they just haven't done it. It's mind-boggling to me. And even at this stage, this team has Harden. Granted, he's older, but still, damn great passer. Leonard, Beal, Zubac, John Collins now, with a nice bench. And I still feel like they won't get over that hump. But you know what? It is what it is. That's a rant I just need to get off my chest. Anyways, Kevin Porter Jr. is probably the most likely player to break out as the type of secondary dude on this Bucks team who can provide some downhill scoring and capable playmaking. Court processing ability, making timely passes, balance with his scoring is going to be a swing skill of his with increased minutes. A mid-range threat, he can come off screens and get loose in the paint and get into his shots. Gary Trent is another guy who can fill that void of potential secondary type dude as a shooter and closeout attacker. The Bucks have basically lived without Dame, so rolling out Giannis and the core guys of Porter Jr., Trent Jr., Prince, Portis, while upgrading the center spot can be something that they're comfortable in doing because they have a track record of playing without a secondary dude. I think they are banking on, hey, KPJ, Gary Trent, Kyle Kuzma, Myles Turner, AJ Green. Can we get multiple of y'all in double digits tonight? So it's kind of like this thing of anyone could be the second guy on any given night. And they really need to upgrade from Kyle Kuzma. If this team somehow, some way, gets their hands on Trey Murphy, I would be elated. I would love this front office because that's the type of guy that they need as a forward. I like the front court. Can go from a spacer in Turner at any moment to an athletic lob threat big in Jericho Sims, so that's always a good thing to have. I do wonder how the Bucks structure their defense, what they will lean into, because they have regressed a bit in the past few years defensively, and they were inconsistent at times last year. Moments where they were ranked well and they just fell off. All in all, I don't know how to feel about the Bucks. There's a lot of potential breakout level talent, but there isn't a sole guy beyond Giannis to comfortably take that role as a main secondary piece. I lean more into Kevin Porter Jr., but this is another thing where time will have to tell. That'll wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more NBA breakdowns like these. With all that being said, I'll see you all in the next video.